Yeah. Lady Justice in the house.
Keeping the balances of justice level with the light of liberty shining bright.
You're so silly.
What?
Yeah. Right.
You're different because you're my servant. Servants of the people, you know what I mean? It's not meant to be demeaning, it's just that you're government, right?
I understand it.
I can
Believe me,
talk to you.
I got in this profession to help folks. I know some people think that we get into it for, because we were bullied or this or that. Look at my size. Does it look like I was bullied growing up?
Not necessarily. There's two types, I would say, and again, this isn't a bad thing necessarily, but there's two types of cops generally. There's the narcissists, and then there's the codependents, right? And like you said, you wanted to help. I'm not saying you're a codependent, right? But that's leaning towards that side, right, of the spectrum. You know what I mean?
I can see what you're saying there, but now I'd have to argue with you that there's a whole lot more personality types that this field draws.
Well, there's a spectrum in between. I mean, narcissism is serious business, right? And codependent is also serious business, right? They're both diseases, but I'm not saying everyone is one of those two.
Oh, no,
but that's the range, and then everybody either falls on one side or the other of middle, right? And about help, right? You said you wanted to help. Well, the only one who can really help ourselves is us. Right, the only one who can help you is you, Sergeant. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah, and I don't fully agree with that.
You don't?
No, I don't. I think that people have the capability to help others out too.
How so?
Well,
you can offer something,
right?
But you can't make somebody take it.
Right.
And even if they do take it, you can't make them use it how in a helpful way. Right, so all we can really do is offer.
That's true, but that offer is helping someone in most cases. Now,
maybe
if you choose to, let's say you choose to take this $5 and you choose to go buy cigarettes or alcohol or something that other than the coffee that you were gonna, that you were saying that you were.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm buying coffee and.
No, but I'm just saying.
I'm very resourceful. I'll tell you what, Sergeant. 3 days ago, Saturday morning at 5 a.m., I had 9 cigarettes left and 3 papers, and because I roll my own cigarettes, and like 1 cup of coffee left of instant coffee, and I was like, this isn't going to work. Times are tough, right? It's hard to find what I need because all these businesses are closed, right? Like I find tobacco on the ground and I re-roll it, and I find change, right? But businesses are closed, right? So it's harder to find these things, right? And my expenses got more because now I'm buying instant coffee, you know what I mean? And so I wasn't finding tobacco, so I was buying like actual cigarettes, and I didn't like that. So I started walking, and that's kind of my philosophy, is if you just put one foot in front of the other, everything will work out, right? And so now here I am here. What is it? I don't know what time it is, but I've got coffee. I have papers. I spent more than I wanted on them, right? And I still have money. You know what I mean? Whereas before, in just a few days, you know what I mean? And it's that easy if we just go forward. Oh, I don't have a destination. I'm just going forward in a straight line. I'm going north in particular because north is up. And I'm very philosophical, Sergeant, and I was in San Antonio, and it's almost a hole, right? If you invert the map, straight up, right, you can see the bottom part of Texas is a hole. You know what I mean? And so if I had gone south, I would have hit rock bottom, right, as far as I could go without crossing the border. I'm not trying to do that, right? So I figured if I go up, then I'll go up, right? And that's exactly what happened.
Well, where are you from originally?
My mom.
No,
I'm not being a smartass. I'm really serious. I have answers to these questions because I'm really thought out. You know what I mean? I'm not from a place.
Geographically, where'd you grow up?
I'm not from a place. A place didn't have anything to do with it. I've been all over the country, but the place doesn't get credit. You know what I mean? Oftentimes we give a place credit for things, right? Like some will claim their whole identity is based on where they're from. Like some might say they're a Texan. That's an identity statement, right? Some claim that they are what they do, right? Like you might say you are a trooper, right? Or some might say they are what they believe, like a Democrat or a Republican or a Christian, right? That's all what you believe, right? And those identities can hold us back. You see what I'm saying? So because I'm not from a place, I'm at home wherever I go, right? I'm at home with myself, which you can tell because I'm very comfortable, right? And at ease, you know what I mean? And it's different, right? Like I've been homeless and it sucks, right? And I've also thought that I had a home that was a place and it sucked just the same, right? It was no different, you know, because they were both incorrect, right? When we believe that we're at home with ourselves, then everything is just amazing. Yeah. It, you know, I ambled here from Miami, and when I first started, I didn't know, right? But I figured, I had a philosophy that if I go forward, I will go forward in every aspect of my life. But what I thought was forward wasn't forward, right? That's a circle. And most everybody tells me it feels like they're going in circles, because they are. I mean, a square or a rhombus, but they're ending up back in the same place every day that they started. And even though they might be like saving more money or something, or they get a promotion or something, it still feels like you're going in a circle, you know. And a lot of people tell me this, right? And I felt that way too. But when I started walking, and I also had a rule that I can't ask for anything, right? The time of day, a light, a cigarette, even a conversation, like I said, unless it's government, you know, I can talk to you guys, but I don't ask you for anything, you know what I mean? But what happened was, when I stopped asking, is that I lost all my privileges, right? Because the only way to get a privilege is to ask for it, right? In order to get a job, you have to ask. In order to get a house, you have to ask. In order to get a driver's license, you have to ask, right? All those things are privileges, right? And so what I ended up with was just rights. And I found out what rights actually are, right? I ended up turning into one of the people, even before I knew the difference between people and servants of the people, right? Oftentimes we use these words every day, you know, people, person, citizen, interchangeably in everyday street talk. But they're not the same, right? The people have the rights. The right of the people to peaceably assemble, the right of the people to bear arms, the right of the people to be secure. And I don't go in their persons, houses, papers, and effects. You see, I can't go in there without asking, right? It's impossible, because after there, once you go in their persons, houses, papers, and effects, everything after there is reasonable, right? No person can be seized without reasonable cause. That's reasonable, right? It doesn't have to be a good reason, just a reason, right? And see, that's a privilege, right? Going to jail, that's a privilege, not a right. You see, I can't go to jail, you know what I mean? Because I would have to do something that wasn't a right, right? I have to be peaceable. You see, because the people, that's the only qualifier, is the right of the people to peaceably assemble. But once you go in there, then it's reasonable,